Ross, that's a really difficult one out there. 5-1 defeat. A game that hinged on one decision, which completely changed the outlook on the game. We have to talk about it. It's unavoidable. I mean, we'd love to shy away from it, but we've got to front on it. And contentious, I think, is the nice way of putting that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got to be careful what I say. I've gone in and speak to the referees after, and they booted me out for some reason. So really frustrating when every single player on the pitch is saying it's not a handball. After the game, their players are all saying it. I know they've won the game; it's easy for them to say that, but I was only speaking to their manager before the game about decisions, and I think we've had a bit of a difficult one again today. So the Alfred Potter one last week, I can accept that one, but this one, everyone's sworn that it's not a deliberate handball, and it's a great block off the line, something that maybe John Terry would be proud of. But it changes games, and we've had 2 games now where we've had a man sent off. So it is difficult, really difficult. I thought we took our goal really well the first one. We was well in the game. We conceded on the 47th minute, which is really difficult because we're in there 2 minutes extra to play. But we then sort of suck it up and roll our sleeves up and go out and try and attack the second half. And then that decision really does deflate us. To be fair, after the penalty, there was some pretty shoddy defending. But the decisions are affecting players at times, and rightly so, because Byron's, I thought, played really well today, and that decision has sort of hurt him as well. A great block lifts us a little bit as well, but from the camera angle, from everyone's angle, for me, it's not a red card. Even if they think it's a handball, it's not a red card. It's not a deliberate action. But no one can really tell me what a handball is at the moment when I went in at the end of the game. So, and I got asked to leave. There's bits and bobs around it, but I've got to be careful what I say.
Yeah, just one word on Byron. He played quite well out there today. Young lad, first start. How's he feeling at the moment? Because he must be devastated.
Yeah, he's playing well. I thought he looked really assured, really sharp. I thought he was doing well. I thought everyone was doing really well. But Byron in particular, I thought he had a good start. And I think that was for me, it's a great block for him. He defended the line really well, as a defender should, and he's not got his rewards for it. So I think he'll be pleased but really disappointed. Hard done by. We just obviously I don't want to talk too much about it because we've been sort of warned about it. But it's really important that we don't just brush it under the carpet. We've got to sort of pick ourselves up and go again. So another game Tuesday.
Yeah, let's move on from that incident then. And George's goal, fantastic goal. Second half of the first half, if you like, we were put under a lot of pressure and did some really great defending at times. Sometimes it was last ditch, but it was brilliant nonetheless. Right until the last kick of the half, almost. Where again, it must be deflating going in like that because we defended really well throughout the game, apart from a few individual errors probably.
Yeah, I think the game could have been controlled better. I'm not talking about my team or their team. I think there was a lot of off-the-ball diving and incidences that are happening that wasn't addressed. That creates a real bitty feel. It actually gives them leverage because they turn it into a bit of a scrap where there was a lot of off-the-ball stuff and diving. We need to be positive. We need to be careful what we say. I think there's frustration around the place at the moment. But the most important thing is that we've come off the pitch healthy and there's no injuries. So that's really important because we've got another big game Tuesday. And we've got to go again. We've had 2 decisions, 2 sort of red cards in 2 games, which I don't think we've ever had. Sort of thinking back, we've never really had that. So we've got a hurdle to jump over. But it's really important that we stick together because we looked really good first half. We had to weather a storm, and credit to them. They're good at what they do. They've got strength and depth. They've got experience. They've got knowledge and know-how, and we know it's going to be a difficult game. But you go down to 10 men again. It's always an uphill battle. So we've got to dissect it, go through it on Monday. But there's plenty of positives in there. But the big factor is obviously that decision that changes the game, in my opinion. So it'd be nice to have a conversation after the game. But being asked to leave the changing room isn't always nice.
Yeah, but obviously last 2 games, 2 red cards. Very different red cards, but red cards nonetheless. You must be. 2 games have almost got away from us and almost been stolen from us in terms of performance. You must be, and the players must be absolutely. Well, I bet you can't wait for Tuesday. That's what I'm trying to say.
100%. I think sometimes when you play 11v11 and you lose a game, you can accept poor goals and stuff. I think we'll never know the Chester score if we had 11 on the pitch, and we'll never know today's score if we had 11 on the pitch. So those sort of question marks are the ones that really eat at people and myself, because we'll just never know if we had everyone on the pitch what the result would have been. So it's 2 games where 6 points have sort of got away from us, but we'll never know. So it's important we don't sort of dwell on it too much, and we sort of address the next game now. And I actually said before the game to try and keep 11 on the pitch. I said it in the new building we've got to some of the sponsors, and I didn't imagine that happening. So yeah, it's one of those things you got to deal with. I don't want boys to be in bad spirits or anything, because it's the decision that one person's made and everyone sort of disagreed with, even their players. So it's important we now move on. We've got a game to address on Tuesday. Pick ourselves up and go again.
Yeah, Tuesdays can be difficult, isn't it? Alfreton is always a tough task, and it's had similar start to our seasons results-wise. So it must be a really intriguing one.
It is, and it's, to be fair, I think the last 2 games has been quite deflating for us, but also the effect it has on fans, because we're then sort of climbing that hill. It's an upward battle. I think they understand it as well. If we had 11, it might be a different game. So I think obviously the support of the fans has been brilliant so far. The last 2 games have been difficult with 10 men, which it is for any club, whether you're in the National League North, South, League 2, League 1, Champ or Prem. So we need to try and make sure we keep people on the pitch to give us a fighting chance, because we're well in games in terms of ability and technical and tactical ability. So it's really important we try and stay in games and make sure we address the next game, which is Alfreton at home.
Ross, thanks very much for your time.
Cheers.